The date is Friday, December the 19th, 2014. The location is the Yankee Air Museum in Belleville, Michigan. The time is 1 p.m. The person being interviewed is Mario Montresor. Mario was born on November the 17th, 1921, and Mario served in the U.S. Army Air Force in the 8th Air Force during World War II. This interview will be conducted by Daniel Mihal. Also present are his wife Betty, his son Keith, his nephew Philip Mills, Michelle Montresor, and Lanny Mills. And Mario, can you tell us where you were born?
Where?
Where, yes.
Seminole, Pennsylvania.
And what were your parents' names?
My dad's name was Joseph, and my mother's name was Guarina.
And did you have any brothers and sisters?
Oh yes, I had a sister Lena and a brother Ferdinand.
Did your father serve in the military in World War I?
In Italy.
In Italy? And what did your father do for a living?
He was a coal miner, and then he became a waiter.
Okay. And did your mother work outside the house?
Oh yeah.
What did she
Because
do?
it was just my mother and I, and she did housework, she did factory work, anything that she could find.
Okay. Now you said your father was a coal miner. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
Well, this was in Pennsylvania, around Pittsburgh.
Okay. And did you stay in one town, or did you move from place to place?
Oh, we moved all over.
And did your family follow your father as he moved? I mean, did you move with your father?
No, just after a while, just my mother and I.
Okay. So, but you did do some moving initially when your father went from place to place.
Yeah.
What was it like moving from town to town when you were a child?
Well, I don't really remember
Okay.
too much.
Do you have any special memories of that time?
No.
And where did you go to high school? What city?
New York City.
New York City. And how did you end up in New York City after living in Pennsylvania? How did you end up in New York City after living in Pennsylvania? Did your mother and you just move there?
I guess.
Okay.
I really don't know.
And what was the name of the high school you attended?
Oh boy. Straubenmuller Textile High School.
That's an unusual name. What was that? Was that a type of vocational or a technical high school?
It was a technical high school.
And do you have any special memories of going to high school?
No.
Did you have any favorite classes in high school?
No. Recess.
And what year did you graduate high school?
1939.
Now, growing up in New York, did you have any favorite sports teams in New York?
No.
And your given name is Mario, but you had a nickname. What was your nickname?
Well, I mean, certain names I can't do and can't say in public. Monty mostly.
Okay. And after high school, what did you do? What did you do after high school?
I went to work
Where did you work?
in a machine shop in New York City.
And how much were you making?
13 cents an hour.
And then how long did you stay in New York doing that?
Not very long, because my aunt lived here in Detroit. She says, come here to Detroit and work at Ford's and get $1.60 an hour. I couldn't get here quick enough.
So what type of job did you have in Detroit then when you got here?
Production work at a Ford Motor Company.
Were you working at the Rouge plant or?
Right.
And do you have any memories of when Pearl Harbor was attacked? Do you have any memories of that day?
Very vague. I remember it, but it didn't really make that much of an impression on me because it's just something that happened.
Okay. And what year did you enter the service, the military service?
1943. January 1943.
Now, were you drafted before 1943 or no?
Oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to report in 1942 November, but then my mother was sick.
Okay,
So then I got a 3 months or 2 months, whatever it was, delay.
okay. And after you were drafted, where did you first go into the service? What camp did you go to?
Oh, it was terrible. Miami Beach, Florida.
Well, I thought you went to basic. Yeah, that was basic, but didn't you go?
Yeah.
You mustered in somewhere in Michigan, didn't you?
Camp Custer.
Okay. And that's located outside of Battle Creek?
Yeah.
Is that correct? So then for basic training, you went to Miami Beach then?
Yes.
And when did you arrive in Miami Beach?
When?
When, yes.
I don't know.
Sometime in 43?
It was winter time because we left Custer with our heavy woolen uniform. We got to Miami Beach and they were all wearing khakis.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the base in Miami Beach? The base where you were going through basic training?
Yeah, Miami Beach.
Oh, it was? Okay. Do you have any memories of basic training?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any memories of basic training?
Well, I remember it, yes.
What were the conditions like?
Oh, very good.
And after basic training, what was your next training that you had?
I went to Aerial Gunnery School at Fort Myers, Florida.
Can you describe the gunnery school, like how you trained? Did they have you shooting at moving targets or?
Oh, I loved it. Oh yeah, they put us in a plane with a couple of machine guns and they said, shoot at the waves, shoot at the birds, shoot anything. I loved it.
And how long do you remember how long the gunnery training was? How long it took?
Not very long, not very long.
And what were the living conditions similar to Miami, or were they good conditions? Or?
Oh yes, very nice.
And what was the next training that you went to?
I think from there, I'm not sure, but I think I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to radio school.
Okay. And what memories do you have of the radio school, of the training that you did there?
Oh, I didn't like it. I didn't want it. But I had to go, so I went.
Okay. Did they have to teach you electronics, some electronics in the school?
Yeah, they tried to teach me how to fix radios, but I wasn't about to do that, so I did learn code and stuff like that. I became a radio operator in the Air Force.
Was learning Morse code difficult?
No. Oh no, very easy.
Do you remember what your speed of Morse code would have been? How fast you could have?
16, I think.
Okay, that's pretty good.
What we tried to keep it at. We didn't go too fast, you know.
Okay. Do you know if were you training for a particular type of airplane, like a B-17 or a B-24, or was it just in general?
We had no choice.
And do you remember how long the radio school lasted?
I really don't recall.
Okay. What were living conditions like in Sioux Falls?
Not bad, not bad.
Overall, was the food and all the training pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was actually in an army camp in Sioux Falls.
Okay. Now, your primary responsibility was as a radio operator. Why did they train you as a gunner too?
Well, I was trained as a gunner first.
Right.
And then they said, you're going to be a radio operator. I didn't want to be a radio operator. But I had no choice.
So after you completed radio school, where did you go from there? Did you get assigned to a crew?
I think so, yeah. I think we went to some air base where they were assembling crews. I forget where it was.
Out Arizona somewhere, maybe?
No, it was up in the
Utah?
northern states.
Utah?
I forget where it was.
Okay. So when they assigned you to a crew, you then did some additional training at that point as a crew?
Oh yeah, as a crew, we did a lot of training together.
What kind of training did you do? I mean, like formation flying or?
Well, we just did our job as we were supposed to do it on a plane.
Were you training as a whole? I mean, were you assigned to a squadron at that point?
Oh yeah.
So were you training as a squadron unit then?
I don't know about that. I think we trained more as a crew.
Okay. Were they also training you on radio procedures when flying with the squadron?
We learned all that.
And did you, after you got done training, did you go on leave then?
Leave?
Leave, yes.
Oh yeah, I think I went home.
You went home? How was that? About 2 weeks or so of leave? Do you remember how long?
Probably a couple of weeks, yes.
And then from there, you began your overseas deployment from after the leave.
Well, wait a minute now. You know, it's all a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, when you started to deploy overseas, where did you start in the States?
When we what?
When you started to go overseas, where
We
did
went
you?
overseas as a crew.
Right, but what was the starting point in the U.S. for that?
Fort Myers, Florida, I think.
Okay. So what was the path that you took to go overseas then? Do you remember
We flew from Fort Myers, Florida to Cuba, to British Guiana, to Belém, Brazil, to Natal, Brazil, to Dakar, French West Africa, to Morocco, up to England.
Okay. Did you fly as a single plane going over?
Well, yeah, one plane at a time.
Okay. And what were your duties as operator as you were going overseas? What did you have to do as a radio operator as you were crossing all the ocean and everything?
Not much, really. The pilot did all of that. I monitored the radio, but I really didn't do that much.
Okay. What was it like to fly over, especially that big jump from Natal to Africa, flying over all that water?
It was great. I slept most of the time.
What special memories do you have of the trip over?
In Brazil, we bought these boots, Belém boots. Boy, they were nice, soft leather boots. They were great, comfortable. And we got overseas with these, and we were really hot rocks
Yeah.
because we had these boots that we flew over from the States to England. You know?
Is that what they called mosquito boots? Is that what they called them?
I don't remember what they called them, but they were comfortable.
And did you have a